*811 *962 hash. *811 *962 hash.
A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning on KBC Channel 1. It is a day when the Chief Justice Martha Koome is going to be admitting advocates to the bar. This is going to be taking place at the Supreme Court buildings here in Nairobi. Our reporter at that event is Fred Mwoki. And the Agenda Committee is going to be meeting the chair of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the Wafula Chebukati. Medza is our reporter at the Kenya School of Government. And Purity Museo is also following up on the Council of Governors who are holding a meeting today and are about to address the nation. That's part of the news outlook that we have got for this day on this Monday, the last day of February 2022. And on Sports Check, the conversation is always about sport. And over the weekend, there was something that 2 weeks ago we had missed out on when having a conversation about the Kenya Cup, that Kenya Harlequin Football Club could be relegated. We focus so much on Nakuru, Homeboys, Nondis, and Impala. The relegation decision was made. Giants of Kenyan rugby, with a combined total of 25 titles, have gone down. It's the season that the Giants fell. We'll be having that conversation at the tail end. And on Friday and Saturday, in the capital of Oman, Muscat, we shall be having the World Race Walking Team Championships. Kenya is represented there by, amongst others, Harrison Wanyonyi and Emily Ngei. They will be leaving the country Tuesday night. They are expected in Oman, Muscat on Wednesday, and we shall be having a conversation with the head of the delegation. He's going to be speaking to us from Riyadh House, where they are finalizing the plans. His name is George Kariuki. He's a race walking coach. He's going to be telling us about the team that he has, and also hear from under-20 champion Harrison Wanyonyi at that point. And also over the weekend, a long tale, something that's been going on for 2 years plus, but for the last 11 months. Kenya's cricket has been under normalization, a committee that was appointed by the Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, and was led by Lady Justice Retired Joyce Oluoch, and the Vice Chair was Justice Retired Alidina Visram. They sat and taken through Cricket Kenya through the review of the Constitution. It was adopted, and also the registration of the counties that has been ensured. And on Saturday they held the elections, and a new board was elected. Partial board, as some did not meet the criteria that was set out by the Independent Electoral Board that was led by Dr. Ken Wayne Mutuma. But we've got the newly elected chair of the Cricket Kenya Board, Manoj Patel, in studio with us. He's on my immediate left, and we also have got the county association's representative, Kennedy Obuya. He is better known as Kenya's opening batsman and wicketkeeper. And for Manoj Patel, he played for Kenya at the 2002 Under-19 Cricket World Cup in New Zealand. And it's quite interesting that the two gentlemen, the jackets that they have are the ones they don't when representing the country. Manoj Patel had this way back in 2002, and Kennedy had that in 1994 when they played at the ICC Trophy, and qualified for the World Cup. So we'll be getting into that conversation straight away. But first, let me introduce our sign language interpreter, who incidentally also has got a shade of green, Lensa Odingo. So straight to this conversation, gentlemen, and let me start with you, Chairman. The whole process of getting to be elected, what drove you to pursue this position of chairmanship of a body that has now to revive cricket in the country?
First of all, thank you, Mr. Wahome, for inviting us here. Actually, it was a challenge. We all understand, because it's not easy when you come in a board where everything is messed up, and whatever to start, it is to start from, you can say, from zero. But thanks to my friends, our legends. One is with me here, Mr. Kennedy Obuya, and many more. Thomas Odoyo is there, Steve Tikolo, Suji Brothers. They motivated me, and they always they have backed me, backed up me, and the confidence they given me, and they said, yes, Manoj, you can do it, because as I said, we have done a few international tournaments when the board was not there, and believe me, that is a big challenge to do something where you don't know where you'll start from, how you will go on, how you will succeed, and to bring international sponsors. Obviously, sponsors here in Kenya currently, interest has gone down because our team is not there on TV every now and then, not like before. Before, whenever we put our TV on, once in a month, you will find your national team always there, your national heroes, you are watching them. So it was a challenge, but we did it.
Well, Kennedy, you've seen this process as it unfolded when there was the conversation, there was the Mombasa Accord, eventually came to normalization. What has been the process been like, and how have you adopted to pick a stance that would bring back, some order to the game and a review and redevelopment of, the game? I know it may be painful to get back to where you are playing at a semi-final of a Cricket World Cup, but what has that journey been?
I think it's been a long journey, and the last 2-3 years it's been quite tough for Kenyan cricket, and not only 3 years. As my chair said, where we were and where we are now is something to really think about. Having said that, I think we should thank Amina Mohammed, Justice Al-Watch, and the electoral committee who did the elections. I think it was a high time whoever was going to be elected, he's a chairman for all of us. So he's a chairman, and it's our interest to bring the cricket back. I may not get the position that I want, but the most important thing is how do we support the chairman who's in charge now, Manoj, for us to bring the game back. That is going to be very, 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 very crucial, especially for us ex-cricketers. The government has done their part by trying to bring us back all together and to have an election. ICC has supported the process. Now it's upon us, we cricketers, to try and push it back. The constitution which was there, and which was there before and which is there now, it's quite different from each other. So we are looking at a constitution which was only based on 3 counties. And now we are looking at a county which is a constitution which is going to govern more than 24 counties, and hopefully it will govern 47 counties.
Well, and I'll be coming to the counties thing, and Kennedy, through the adoption process of the constitution, some of the things that came clear was that counties have a huge role to play. What has been the interest for people who've because now we've seen, for example, we may have a chairman here, but we know he's representing Kilifi. You represent a different county, and you're now over the county representation. What are the key aspects of this constitution that are different from the previous one?
The most important thing of the third constitution that I'm saying, which is so much different, is it has opened to all the counties, so the 24 counties. Yes, cricket is still very strong in Nairobi and Mombasa, but we were really trying to push that how can we get 44, we have 50 million Kenyans, how do we get 50 million Kenyans involved? And how do a kid in Kilifi, or in Kiambu, or in Vihiga, or in Sia get the same opportunity as the kid in Kenya? And I always give this example very much. When rugby was there before, it was a so-called closed doors, and it was just only being played among the top schools and in Gong Road. If you talk about rugby now, it's spread everywhere. And that's my dream, and I hope that's my chairman's dream, to make sure that how do we spread the game from 2 counties to about 23 counties which we have at the moment, and to about 47 counties. It's going to be a challenge, but I think it's a positive challenge that the Constitution has opened it up very clearly, that if you look at the delegates who are there on Saturday, they will bring a big difference, because majority of them are teachers who are involved in schools. Yeah. So through schools, yeah, we will definitely get kids, and that's where the clubs will come from.
Now let me come to you, Chairman, and looking at the new board that's there, you are the chairman, then you've got Maina Kamau, former acting commissioner for sport, as your vice chair. You've got Kalpesh Solanki as your treasurer, and Paulino Mamo was elected unopposed as the director of women's cricket, and the county and associates representative is Kennedy here. Looking at this initial composition of the board, what is the first conversation that you've had?
First conversation, obviously, strategic plan, yeah. We are already working on our strategic plan, yeah. First of all, normalizing our status at ICC, that is very important, yeah. And secondly, we need to bring back the major counties. They said Nairobi Cricket Association, Mombasa, CCA, Coast Cricket Association, and Rift Valley. Yeah, we need to bring them under one umbrella. As I said, there are so many programs they started with, and most of us, we have learned so many things from their programs. Yeah, so our first thing is to bring them back. Yeah.
You've also mentioned, you've talked about normalizing the relationship within the cricket family. We know that, for a place like Nakuru, that's the heart at the moment of women's cricket in Kenya. Kennedy has just infected me with that. Women's cricket is very strong there, and some of the major grounds that would be accepted, say for a national team assignment, are in Nairobi. What's Nairobi saying? What is Nakuru saying?
First of all, you are right. I will apologize for not mentioning women cricket. We have really strong teams, women's we have, and it is really easy to bring women's cricket rather than even men's. Obviously, men's we are working. We need to bring our national team on the ground now, because it's a long time now we don't have a team. Yeah. So women's, when I talk about cricket, obviously it's about men's and women's cricket. Yeah, so even we would like to, as soon as possible, we bring our national team into the field. Yeah, because very soon we are having our international tournaments, which is on Kennedy, I think July. Is it in July?
We're having two major tournaments.
All right, we'll be coming to those tournaments, but right now we will move to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where the Trade Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Betty Maina, is speaking at the 7th PIDA week, and let us join this event that is at the Kenyatta International Convention Center.
So all we can emphasize and keep emphasizing is we believe that the connectivity that is brought by infrastructure is going to help us realize our ambition, and therefore it is very pertinent and necessary to embrace many players in this regard. Whether it's small-scale infrastructure projects, last-mile connectivity programs, for instance, in energy, or last-mile connectivity projects in terms of roads, we can all play a critical part. And it's important, whether it's local, like I said, local feeder roads, local connections of electricity. These are all necessary for us to develop and to realize the development and the ambitions of economic progress that can be brought to this continent. There are many other things. We talk about roads, we talk about energy, but sometimes we even just have to talk about things like markets, getting our goods to the market. We have relied a lot, for instance, in our country for local governments supplying markets. But we have visited other parts of the world where we have actually seen markets that have been, produced or developed by the private sector, and they run and they become great magnets for local development. So we can encourage you as the private sector to think broadly about all the different facets of public, necessary infrastructure, public infrastructure that can be supplied in our continent. That is, of course, in addition to being drivers of production. Our private sector has been very, very pivotal. Africa relies a lot on the private sector for its own growth. But beyond producing in your factories and in your enterprises, it's also important to begin to invest significantly in many other joint and common infrastructure. We'll give you an example. For instance, we produce a lot of fresh produce in this part of the world, whether it is flowers, whether it is vegetables, whether it is fruits. But a lot of this is lost to, we experience a lot of post-harvest losses because you don't have cold chain infrastructure to be able to deliver it to the market. Now, a typical cold chain facility is not terribly expensive, and it is areas that the private sector can play a critical role in. So we ask you and all of us, all the members of this Continental Business Network to really work hand in hand with governments in order to supply the necessary infrastructure. It is our responsibility as governments to create the necessary environment through regulation, through facilitation for your businesses to thrive. And a lot of times we might not know all that you require, but I think in the context of a dialogue such as this, we can become more aware of the different needs, the different facilitation, the different regulatory frameworks that governments can supply. And we welcome you to continue to dialogue with us and to share your insights so that together we can partner in growing our continent. We thank you very much and welcome you to Kenya once again.
Secretary Betty Maina, and she is at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, where she was speaking at the 7th Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa. It is a program where conversations are about making sure that Africa has the right infrastructure such that the entire value chain is covered from production to the point where there is consumption, and we shall be having that full report in our lunchtime bulletin. Remember that we've got a comprehensive business bulletin that comes at 1:30 p.m. Join us then. We get back to a conversation about cricket, and over the weekend, a new Cricket Kenya board was elected, and today, the normalization committee that was appointed by Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed is going to be presenting their final report and also making their returns to the International Cricket Council, the ICC. And this is after the normalization period of about 11 months from late March last year. And it has come to a close officially today after Saturday's election of a new board. And in studio, we've got the chairman, Manoj Patel, who was elected chair of the Cricket Kenya board, and we also have got Kennedy Obuya, who was unopposed as a counties and associations representative. Also members of the board, Maina Kiroma Kamau, who is a former acting commissioner for sport. The treasurer is Kalpesh Solanki, and Paulino Mamo is the director of women's cricket. And Chairman, you are, telling us about how you're going to get about, getting cricket active in the right way and involving the, Nairobi, because number one, you need to get the players active, because you mentioned there is national team duty coming around June and July. You can continue from there.
For that, as I said, before the players were jumping directly to the national team just from our tournament, so we need to get the elite, so where we can have 6 teams playing, and from there I think it will be easier for even selectors to select the team there, as we don't have that much time. Very soon, I think June, July, we have the national tournaments. So we have plans for that.
And Kennedy, let me just come to you about what the Constitution. I still remember the ICC representative speaking in like October, I think early November last year, and the whole conversation was about the role of a development director. And I'll be coming, Chairman, about the appointments, the CEO and the development director. We'll be coming back to that. But looking at the county structures, what is it that you're looking at, having been a coach here in the country and also in Australia?
I think the counties will play a very big role. First of all, how with this CBC coming in, we thought hard, very, very, very hard, and we thought that with the CBC coming in, which is going to be rolled, so we want to partner, especially with the government, the county government. That's going to be very, 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 very crucial. If we partner with the county government, because we're introducing cricket into those areas, So the county government, we as Cricket Kenya, with the blessing of the chairman, we are going to look at two main areas. Our main area is going to be to provide the expertise and to provide the equipment. We'll try and support in that. Their areas would be to try and get us the kids out and to try and get us certain venues or certain grounds. So it's very, 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 very important, especially now, where I'll say it as a joke, you're electing your governor. What does your governor have for we sportsmen? You're electing your MP. What is your MP telling you as a junior, as young people, What is he plan for you as sportsmen? So we are telling, when they come to campaign to your areas, ask them to tell you what is their plan for we youth as cricketers. We need a venue. We need the government, the county government, to get involved in terms of funding. We don't expect them to fund 100%, but we will partner with the county governments that are ready to partner with us, and we'll definitely look for those partnerships very, very well.
Let me just think of a scenario, because now you've got development. 3 years ago, there was a young man named Maxwell Aguirre who showed up at the Under-19 qualifiers for the Under-19 Cricket World Cup, and he became a sensation from Homa Bay. If I was to use where Maxwell Aguirre came from, what are some of the things that would be required? Developing a cricket pitch, that that wicket may be a hard call, but what's the equipment that would be required if you're to go to the counties now?
I think, as I said earlier, what we are ready to provide is the equipment. We will support on them with the equipment and the expertise. So we'll train the coaches, and I said it earlier, there is a lot of number of teachers who want to get involved. So we'll train the teachers, but the next step would be we will try and station a few coaches there. At the moment, Cricket Kenya has employed 18 coaches. But now, because you've got 23 counties and you want to move to 47 counties, we are looking at a maximum of 10 coaches per county for us to make a difference, or 5 coaches for a county. That means it comes with finances. And that's what I'm saying. Your county government is very, very, very crucial, because in terms of funding, we may train for them the expertise, and it will create employment for the youth of that area. So we will try and support in terms of equipment and in terms of the coaches, which I'm saying the expertise and the training bit. So that is going to be our part as Cricket Kenya. I think speaking on behalf of the chair on that, and that is something which I've got very dear in my heart, about devolving cricket from the so-called 3 counties in Nairobi, take it to Mashinani. So we will do that as part of our agenda and part of our program for this year.
And Chairman, the constitution that has come in place is elaborate about the appointment of the Chief Executive Officer, who will also serve as the General Secretary of the board, on the board as General Secretary, and also the Development Director. What is the plan now that would be there to see that these 2 positions are filled, and also know that these people have got a term limit of 3 years? I mean, as an elected official, you can serve for 4, up to 8. The maximum this person can serve is 6.
No, about the development director and CEO, actually we until now we haven't planned, because obviously that will go on merit. So we cannot just say, okay, this is a development director who is going to come up or a CEO. We are going to take the interviews. We have a list for that. Yeah, for a few CEOs and even development directors. But as I said, that will go on merit. We committee will sit together, and apart from committee, we have well-wishers, even our legends. We'll take their advices and to see, yeah. So that will be on merit. Yeah.
The other one is, you keep talking about financing. The International Cricket Council, I know they had their representative from Zimbabwe. I know he came in and had to leave, but from the first conversation that you had with him after the election, what was his impression of the process in Kenya?
Yeah, we had a small, because he was flying, yeah, he did not have enough time, but he was looking so positive and was so happy and glad that Kenya cricket now is at least back, yeah. So gave us a lot of tips, and in fact we are in touch with him regarding the ICC things, matters, and even sponsorships. When we talk about sponsorships, we got so many calls from sponsors. It's good that now people are aware that Kenya cricket is back, and sponsors are also willing to come to Kenya and sponsors. We are lucky that we have people ready. We don't have to look for people. In fact, they've started looking for us. So hopefully very soon, very, very soon, when I say very soon, means within a month or 2 months, we'll be having continuously tournaments, national level tournaments, yeah, which will be lively streamed, and to bring the morale back to the national players and even into Kenya. Yeah.
And Kennedy, this is a build-up to a national team selection. I mean, 20 years ago, being called up to the national team was every player's dream, and the competition was harsh. And I'll give a good example. You used to compete for the same position with your brother David,
yes,
as wicket-keeper. Normally doesn't happen. You'd have different roles. But what's the process now for the current national team?
I think the chair said it earlier. The process has been very, 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 very thin at the moment, because we jump from school cricket to club cricket to the national team. In my view, I think it's a very short one. So that's why he's really spoke about the tournament. So the tournament will make it a little bit more competitive in terms of now you love school cricket, then from school cricket you jump to club cricket, and then to that tournament, and then from that tournament to the national team. So it's going to be a little bit tighter, yeah. But we can talk as much as Lady Justice Galwat said. The boardroom part is over. Now it is all implementing. Winning an election is something else, yeah. But now running the association is again totally something else. But the blessings, and I said it earlier, the blessing of we cricketers will be very, very, very crucial. We know all cricketers what the situation is, and where we want to go as a country. So if you're not ready to be led, it's also not easier to lead. So that's my view based on that.
And Chairman, when looking at the board, we know that some members, there are some people who did not meet the criteria that was set by the independent electoral panel. What would be the plan to ensure that your board is fully constituted?
I think David came with a very good plan today. We were discussing the same just today only. If you can please explain that, yeah, because we are just discussing the same.
The plan that we have is, as much as possible, we will try and accommodate. Especially, we are looking at, as I said it earlier, we are looking at bringing everybody back to the game. Ex-international players, yeah. There is a huge role for all of us to play, yeah, for us to push the game back to where it was. And the first role would be, how do we get, the first role, which is very, very important, is how do we unite? And that's the most important thing. The elections is over, yeah. If you had plans, your plans is our plan. So if you present your plans to the chair, who I think is a very soft-spoken person and very, very accommodating, he will listen to your views. We will put your views in part of our plans that we have. So for us, our dream is to try and move forward as a group, and it starts from the players, from the ex-players, the supporters, the players who are there now, the coaches, and the supporting staff. So how do we move forward? And especially you guys, members of the media, you'll play a very big role for helping us move forward as a group. Yes.
And Chairman, I want to come to you, and there's something you mentioned on Saturday, is that given the decline of the sport in the country, this is about revival, and it may take time. It may take 6 years. It may take 10 years. What's the whole messaging and working such that you're working patiently, looking at what's immediate and also looking at what's long term?
Yeah, immediately when we say looking at immediate, that is our national team. That is our first priority, to bring them back as soon as possible to the ground and make them continuously training and giving them games. And secondly, when we talk about long term, meanwhile, we have the counties now. When we talk about the grassroots, so that should also, that is also in our program, and that should also continues. Yeah, so even grassroots level, that is different than which I said it can bring maybe 5 years, 10 years. So that is now grassroots. Yeah.
All right. Let me interrupt you, Chairman. And right now, Chief Justice Martha Koome is at the Supreme Court, and she is having an event where advocates of the High Court are being admitted to the bar. Let us listen to Chief Justice Martha Koome speaking.
Signing of the role of advocates as the advocates of the superior courts of Kenya. Every time I stand here to administer the whole and to welcome the newly admitted advocates to the profession, I do it with utmost grace and gratitude, because my mind also goes back to about 35 years ago in 1987 when I sat where you are seated. And that time, I would have considered myself vulnerable, having come from a background which we would describe as poor background, a daughter of a peasant. I was married early. I already had a daughter, and I was expecting another one. But I looked at myself as a champion, and I looked at myself as an achiever who has been able to be sworn as an advocate of the High Court, and none of my village mates had become an advocate. So I started seeing myself a very great achiever, that I also was a mother of a daughter. My colleagues did not have a child, most of them, and I was expecting another one, and I even had a husband. So I was counting many, many blessings that particular time. I didn't look at myself as vulnerable. I was just seeing, how an achiever I was. And this is the attitude I would like you to adopt on this great day, because we are so lucky. We live in a country that is full of possibilities. That is a country that gives us hope that there is always a better tomorrow. So welcome to the profession. As the Chief Registrar has said, she considers you a mother. I also consider you my children, and I'm ready to hold your hand and walk with you from today, a day which marks a very important moment in your careers. This is because we take admission to the role of advocates very seriously. It was my turning point, and it is your turning point for all of you and for anybody who is aspiring to become a member of the legal profession. And in this group of 113, I see the future of the legal profession. I see champions for a just cause of our society, people who are going to carry on the work of transforming this country until all of us can realize our full potential, living in a an environment that enables us to grow economically, politically, and socially. Today marks a transition from a period that you have focused on studies, preparing for admission to the bar. And the way I saw you look at the representative of the Council for the Legal Education and Kenya School of Law, it must have been tough. It was also tough for us when we did it. But of course, this does not mean that the period of studies will come to an end, like everybody has said, has advised you in those very profound messages they have given you of encouragement. So you have earned this title of a learned friend, but we expect you to continue standing as members of the bar, because the law is ever evolving and the ideal advocates must keep abreast with the law and other developments in the society. I want to use this opportunity to share with you my reflections on the role of advocates in promoting access to justice. We have our Constitution 2010, which we embraced, and in it is very ambitious in its objectives of ensuring that we create a just society, which means that justice is a universal good and the law should be harnessed to ensure justice for all. Under Article 48 of the Constitution, access to justice is a fundamental right. It follows that it is a constitutional imperative that advocates becomes priests in the temple of justice, which is what our courts are, and they ought to be. They ought to champion access to justice for all, and especially the vulnerable in our society. Access to justice is usually conceived to involve bringing claims to court or defending such claims. Although litigants can represent themselves in court, we all know effective representation usually demands representation by competent advocates. We also know the cost of representation tends to be high and often out of reach for most litigants, especially the vulnerable members of our society, like the elderly, children, persons with disabilities, members of the minority, and marginalized groups, amongst others. And given this reality, ladies and gentlemen, that most of our people, especially the vulnerable, are still excluded from enjoying the benefits of competent legal representation, advocates must be ready to go a step further than what is expected to ensure that these vulnerable members of our society access justice. And this involves taking steps to provide legal services and legal advice to people who would otherwise not afford them. And by doing so, you are addressing the justice gap that exists in our...
Well, that is Chief Justice Martha Koome, and she is speaking at the Supreme Court, where she is overseeing the admission to the bar of the advocates of the High Court. Fred Moki is our reporter at that event. He's going to be giving us more details. And right now, let us move to the Kenya School of Government, where the Registrar of Political Parties, Anderito, is addressing that meeting. And also in attendance is the chair of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Wafula Chebukati, and this is being taken through by the National Gender and Equality Commission.
Possible to be funded. The criteria was opened up so that 70% will be based on the number of votes garnered, 15% will be based on special interest groups that the party has brought on board, 10% on the number of members that a party have brought on board in terms of election, elected leaders. And you can see clearly we have given a significant portion of 15% because of the numbers of youth, persons with disabilities, and women that the party shall bring on board. So we urge political parties to work and to get out of their way to get those women, get those youth, get those persons with disability, look at the different structures of the society in terms of the ones that are marginalized so that we come on board. And it must be affirmative action, which is a deliberate effort to do that on the part of the party. And I know they are committed to do that. So as we welcome you, Chair, we know for sure that you are going to add a lot of value as a commission that is responsible specifically to look at those issues. These party members are open to listen to the discussion because we have been highlighting that to them. But you being here, it's a demonstration of commitment of the commission to help the parties walk the journey and help them the issues that they have been asking. One of the questions they have been asking, there was a ruling of Katiba Institute versus IBC, and I know Salome may speak to that, which obligated political parties to present the list of candidates for elections, which is a list that is compliant to that gender rule. The question has been, where do we get these women? So probably you can help them answer that question, because they are saying maybe there are not as many women who want to vie and to run for election as the numbers that they have, so that they feel that. So this meeting will be very fruitful and helpful to help the parties get the nitty-gritty of how to mobilize those women, join the parties and become candidates within the list of the political parties, because it's a mobilization strategy that probably they may need help, so that we see where do we get these women and who really want to vie for elections, and then the parties have a pool where they can draw from and see whether we can populate. Because the women, the youth, the many with the person with disability that are in the ballot paper, the more likely that they shall be elected. And I think it's a factual statistics that the more people that participate in an election, the more that they are likely to be elected. So in a nutshell, we are saying that we are committed as an office to work with you and to work with you, to work with the NCIC also in terms of ensuring that there is a peaceful election and to ensure that inclusion happens. We know for sure that every duty bearer here has a responsibility. Ours is to also help you and support you where you need our support. Finally, I would want to remind political parties of the ticking timelines that really, including those lists we are saying of candidates and aspirants, you should be able to start preparing them. And you know we have a timeline starting from the 26th, that by 26th, every person who wants to run with a political party should be in that particular political party, should be a member of that particular political party. And we want to repeat that because sometimes parties are giving different timelines which are relevant to the parties. And it's okay. There are parties who have given the deadline probably today. That is a party deadline which the party members should obey, because those are parties' timelines. But as per the law, the last day that a person can be in a party so that you run with that party is the 26th, and we want to repeat that for clarity. The other matter is that we expect, if you have already set the timeline for your party primaries, you are supposed to request for the certification of your register.
You've heard from the Registrar of Political Parties, and Nderito, and she is speaking at the Kenya School of Government, where the National Gender and Equality Commission is holding a conference together with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and it is about the proper inclusion and also the protection of minorities and all those who are there, people from different genders at the elections, and she's giving the role that's needed to be there to ensure that there is free and fair elections, but also they do not affect the day-to-day lives of people. We shall have Kamche Medza giving us the full report of that in our subsequent bulletins. We get back to a conversation, and this is around cricket. A new board was elected on Saturday, and I've got two members of the board on my immediate left. I've got the newly elected chairman, Manoj Patel, and Kennedy Obuya, who is the counties and associations representative. And there is a conversation that you're having about immediate things that needs to be done and how to get players ready for the national team. Chairman, you were explaining that it's important, and like Kennedy had highlighted, that if you move from schools cricket, you move on to club cricket, then there must be an elite league in between you being there and you getting a call up to the national team. Tell us how this elite league would work.
Elite League is like we need to have something like IPL, those kind of tournaments, yeah. And for that we can invite, like we did in our past tournament, we can invite few players, or we can say we can have a number like 3 to 4 players in every team. We can have 6 teams and 4 players. We can invite them and mix into all 6 teams. And with our obviously national teams and our neighbor Uganda, Tanzania is there, Zimbabwe players are there. So I think that will make a sense, because you know every time when we keep on playing against the same bowler, same batsman, yeah, they are used to with each other, and when our team goes or any team comes here to play with the national team, we don't see a performance. So to me it's not right to blame our players, because they are not getting those kind of opportunities. So I think like this elite, it will be a good thing, yeah.
And Kennedy, you know how important that kind of league is. With the immediate national team assignment, what are the things that players should know, having played at the highest level for Kenya for 10 years?
First is hard work. There's no shortcut. It's going to be a lot of hard work. And what we have, and the chairman has said, we are committed to do the hard work on our part. So it's going to be upon them also to try and do hard work. So we're looking at, we'll try and improve the facilities, yeah, which is one of the biggest challenges that we're having. So how can we have 4 nets or 5 nets, a bowling machine, enough cricket balls for practice for the national team, yeah? But the players must commit themselves to that process, because it's all hard work. We need that, as I said earlier, we need to pull our hands all together for us to move forward. We need the players to be part of us moving forward. They've got to be show us that they're really committed, yeah, with the process for us to turn it around and take it to where it was.
Enough matches, obviously. Yeah. We must give them enough matches for a good level of matches. Yeah.
Something else is, for the last 11 months, the government has been overseeing cricket in this country. The question now is, how do you now continue that relationship with them? The fact that the registrar of the sports registrar is happy with Cricket Kenya complying with the Sports Act, then how do you want to, leverage on that?
If I may just say a little bit on that. First, I said that, and my plea would be to the Minister Amina Mohammed. She can't leave us now. We need her more now than ever. We'll try and do our part. But there's a process that the government, especially since I started playing cricket, it's for the first time in history that the government has come in and fully sponsored cricket. So they have sponsored the 2 tours for the national team and 1 tour for 2 tours for the ladies team. So those were 4 tours. And they pumped in a lot of money towards those tours. Yeah. Cricket Kenya never removed not even a single cent. All the funding was coming from the government. That's, I said, big, huge plus sign for Amina Mohammed. She's turned it around. And you're pleading to her again. She can't leave us now. We need her more now, yeah, to try and support us, because it's a very fragile situation at the moment. Yeah, in terms of you've got these 2 tours, which are going to be World Cup qualification, one in Uganda and one in Jersey, yeah. If we qualify on those 2, then we qualify for the World Cup. So we needed to support us on those 2 tours, yeah, so that we can move the next process. So the government will play a very key role at the moment with the ministry. We have been totally trying to in touch with Indakwa, who is in the normalization committee, and Dr. Ongeti, and they're very supportive on this. So what you're pleading, and I'm pleading again, Waziri, we need you now more than we needed you before. So this is the time that we need to move forward, yeah, and we need the government to help us move forward. Even this tournament that you're talking about, we'll need foreigners to come here. The government must support us for us to hold these tournaments in terms of security, in terms of the grounds, yeah. Those are the things that we need the government for support.
And also, talking with the International Cricket Council, we know the kind of funding that would come through. I know Kenya is still a long way from qualifying for a Cricket World Cup. The criteria has been made it's very difficult, but the development money that's, to get back the ICC sending in money, what are some of the immediate conversations you'd like from them?
First, before Machama says, first of all, you must understand we had lost about 3 years of funding.
Yes.
So the first thing that, as a board, and the chairman will definitely try and handle is, how do we get, those 3 years funding that we have missed? Yeah, what is the process? And that's what he said it earlier. We'll start that process when you have our first board meeting, to see how we can get that funding, because that funding will help us for preparation and will help us especially, for me, it will really support on the counties. With the counties really, they need that funding for us to keep going.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you see, as Kennedy said, it is a little bit a small procedure for that, and we can not wait for that procedure. It might take 2 weeks or even 2 months, and that's why these our sponsors, our well-wishers, and the government, those will be very important by then.
And final remarks that I would like, Kennedy, for you first. What is it that you would like from those who are in the coaching and competition side in cricket? What is it that you'd like them to do and also, come together and talk about, so that there is some activity and people get back to the stands?
I think dialogue, and unity. That's what we're asking for. If we all of us get together, we'll achieve what we want to achieve. I think, as I said it earlier, the government have done their part. They have put cricket back on track, which thanks to Amina Mohammed once again, that she's made us go one step by putting us back on track and putting us back on the good books of ICC. Now it's upon us, we cricketers, to decide what our destiny is. It doesn't matter whether, I'd say it again, it doesn't matter whether you won or you lost. A win for Manoj is a win for all of us as cricketers. Let's all rally behind him and try and supporting him. See, how can we improve this lovely sport? How can a kid in my village in Homa Bay County gets a chance, or in Siaya gets a chance to play this lovely sport and earn a living through the sports? So mine is, my parting shot is unity.
Chairman Manoj Patel, your parting shot. Closing words.
No, I will just say thank you for inviting us, and we are ready to go and to start as soon as possible. The players must be on the ground as soon as possible. Yeah, that is it.
All right. Thank you very much, Manoj Patel, newly elected chairman of the Cricket Kenya Board, and Kennedy Obuya. He is the county association's representative of the Cricket Kenya Board that was elected on Saturday. Over the next few weeks, let's see how this changes, and we'll keep tabs on this as they work together with the International Cricket Council and the State Department for Sport to revive cricket in Kenya. We shall be taking a short break and moving on to a different conversation about the World Race Team Walking Championships. But before that, let us go back to the Kenya School of Government. And the chair of the Cohesion and Integration Commission, the Reverend Dr. Samuel Kobia, is addressing that gathering.
Colleague Joyce for inviting us to participate in this extremely important event. I really want to congratulate you, because bringing together the political parties, and especially the theme of the day, and it's to do with the special interest groups, is very, very important indeed. Secondly, I want also to congratulate Annie Derito for the way the Registrar of Political Parties has really worked with those of us who have critical stakes in elections. That is the IEBC, the GEC, and ourselves, NCIC, because we are the three of us are natural allies when it comes to commissions. And I think it's very important we continue to work together. And I look forward very much to how we are going to work together in the coming months in the run-up to the elections. Now, I want to make some few remarks as requested. Number one, I really want to emphasize one point, and that is of affirming the dignity of special interest groups. For me, this is absolutely imperative, because dignity is a birthright of every human being. But we know that dignity, which of course cannot be taken away because it's a birthright, but dignity can be violated, dignity can be disrespected, and that affects the dignity of that person. And the traditionally marginalized groups are the ones who suffer this violation of dignity. And therefore, I wanted to say that when we affirm that dignity, we do it through participation and inclusion. And I wanted to emphasize one point, that to be is to participate. And therefore, I would like the process, ourselves, those who are responsible for playing major roles in the process leading to, during, and after elections, to provide the space and the opportunity for special interest groups of people to participate. Because I would want to say something that I have said before, and I have included it in one of my books. To be is to participate. I am because I participate, and since I participate, therefore I am. If we provide the spaces and the people who are coming from special these interest groups, then they can really be. And if they can really say, I am because I participate, and since I participate, therefore I am, then you political parties, because you are the ones who today are the focus of this meeting, then when people within your parties of interest groups can say, I am because I participate, and since I participate, therefore I am, then you will achieve a very, very important aspect of making our electoral processes peaceful. So that's the remark, point number one, that I want to make, Chair. The second point I want to make is to say that as NCIC, we have a mandate to ensure equal opportunities in all spheres of Kenyan life, including politics. And this is part of our mandate as it is provided for in Section 25 of the NCI Act of number 12 of 2008. And it says that the mandate of NCIC, as provided for in Section 25(1), is to facilitate and promote equality of opportunity, good relations, and harmony and peaceful coexistence. And this includes the electoral process. And that's why I wanted to bring it up as the second point in my remarks, to say that because of this mandate, we are going to work together with the GEC, we are going to work together with the IEBC, and definitely the registrar of political parties, and then all yourselves, political parties. So this is an important aspect of it for us, and it is one of those important mandates that we have. Number 3, I want also to mention that as NCIC, we have come up with this roadmap to elections. We launched this roadmap in December of 2020, and it's what we call a violence-free 2022 elections bila norma. Elections bila norma is what we have chosen as what we say in our role in helping to have a violence-free electoral process in the run-up to, during, and after the elections. That is what we wanted to contribute to this, and this roadmap, therefore, is
of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the Reverend Dr. Samuel Kobia, and he's speaking at the School of Government, where the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission and the National Gender and Equality Commission are having a joint meeting, and it is about the election preparedness and ensuring that the elections are not just free and fair, but also peaceful. And Kamte Medza is our reporter. And right now, let us listen in to the chair of the Council of Governors, Embu Governor Martin Wambora, who is speaking to the media now.
The first case of COVID-19 in Kenya in March 2020, the county governments have been in the front line of the prevention, management and response of the pandemic. Our health system has been tested like never before, but county governments have remained resilient in the wake of COVID. Achievement going forward. We have collectively increased isolation beds, installed additional functional oxygen plants, and procured more oxygen cylinders and oxygen concentrators. We have also connected more than 3,000 beds to oxygen. The last 2 years have pushed local economies towards rethinking their strategic interests and prioritization interventions that build resilience and sustainability in service delivery. County governments have had to think on their feet and generate solutions to manage the spread of COVID-19 and the impact of the virus on population. The compendium we are today launching contain a combination of innovative measures taken by the county government and in dealing with the pandemic. I'm particularly impressed that the Mariva Center, our knowledge hub, put together this booklet. As the evolution progresses, it is important that we document the steps and the milestones made so that the knowledge garnered along the way can be utilized by the present and future generations. Indeed, the compendium provides a glance into the county COVID-19 journey. In conclusion, I would like to thank every team member who was part of developing the compendium. Gratitude also goes to World Bank and UNDP for their constant support towards the Mariva Center. We will continue to work together and to pool our resources so that what has been started today may continue, even with a bigger momentum. I look forward to seeing more details of this compendium. I now invite us to watch the video on the publication we are launching today, after which we shall officially launch the compendium. May God bless you all. Asante sana. Thank you.
The chair of the Council of Governors, Governor Martin Wambora, and he was speaking about, the health systems having been tested before and they've been resilient, and right now they have connected more than 3,000 beds to oxygen, and the county governments have had to think on their feet to find solutions and manage the pandemic. And the compendium consists of innovations by county governments documenting the milestones made so that knowledge can be utilized by the present and future generations. Purity Museo is our reporter at that event, and she's going to be giving us that report. At this point in time, we take a breather, and when we get back, we shall be having more conversations around sport.
To all our prospective candidates, are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
This week on Good Morning Kenya.
The health system in Siaya has improved greatly. Yes. Because previously, before we came in, even child mortality rate was very high.
Governor Kanel Rosanga has steered the county of Siaya for 10 years now.
Did you ever see at some point that the president and Honorable Raila Odinga would shake hands?
I never imagined it.
What is his opinion on national politics?
The way Uhuru has now come to support Raila for presidency, that is a very big mark. That is like rubbing out tribalism completely from in this country.
Join me this Wednesday on The Viewpoint at 7:30 a.m. on Good Morning Kenya, only on KBC Channel 1.
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
It's you that I love, and I love you with all of my heart. I only love you and nobody else. And I think that's what's most important right now.
You're going to separate when I say so, and only then. And you know what? I want you to stop getting me in trouble with your son Julio.
What do you want? Why did you come?
Because I wanted to stop you from committing bigamy.
What?
Mariela is the most wonderful woman I've ever met in my life. Does that answer your question?
Look, don't mess this up for us too.
Not only have you abandoned your family, now you're turning your back?
Lying heart.
Fue sembrando el veneno y la ambición.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 28th day of February 2022. Conversations that we have had this morning, one about cricket, the new board, plus also the admission of advocates to the admission of advocates to the bar, and that was by the Chief Justice Martha Koome, and that was at the Supreme Court. The Council of Governors, with a compendium of lessons learned during the COVID-19 pandemic and the preparations around it, and also the National Gender and Equality Commission is meeting with the with the independent and electoral boundaries Commission Chairman Wafula Chebukati, and this is about election preparedness. We shall be coming into the next conversation, and it is about the World Race Walking Team Championships. And we are joined via Zoom from Riyadh House by the team leader of the contingent, Coach George Kariuki, and also the under-20 champion in the 10-kilometer men's race walk. He goes by the name of Harrison Wanyonyi. And Coach Kariuki, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Daniel.
Well, first of all, we saw the announcement by Athletics Kenya about the team that was selected. First, one of the things that we've seen is that countries are allowed one athlete, for example, in the men's 20-kilometer race walk, but Kenya has been allowed to have 3. We've got Simon Wachira, we've got Samson Digiti, and also we have got Kireri. You could give us a background into how Kenya got to have 3 race walkers selected for the 20 kilometers men's race.
Thank you, Daniel. I think to start with, there is no qualification for entry into this championship because we don't have qualifying times for this particular championship. What we have is the team, a combination of athletes to form a team. That's why we had to form the Athletics Kenya Race Walking Team for the 20 kilometers walk men. Other events, say like the 20 kilometers women, we only have 1 athlete, and that is Emily Ngi. And in the 10 kilometers under 20, we have got Wanyonyi. That's how we have come up with that combination.
Well, Coach, let me come to you, and I will be speaking to Harrison Wanyonyi, who is the under-20 champion in the men's 10-kilometer walk. He won gold in Nairobi last year. But first, tell us about the criteria that you used to have Samuel Gadimba Kireri, Dominic Samson Digiti, who won a bronze at the under-18 championships. That was in the year 2017. Actually, how time flies. And Simon Wachira for the 20-kilometer senior men's race walk.
Daniel, that question, I'm not getting it very clear.
Okay, let me just repeat it. It is about how you came up selecting Samuel Gadimba, Dominic Ndigiti, and Simon Wachira.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. We have, as you know, Gadimba is the Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, and at the same time, he's the African champion. Last year, he would have gone to represent Kenya in the Olympic Games because he had a good qualifying time, although the conditions allowing him to compete in that kind of a championship needed international judges, a minimum of 3 from different countries. That's why he didn't compete. But for his position in this team, he is our top man in this country. He's the champion, and that's why we have picked on him. We have also done our first weekend track and field.
Barabarani kwa mashindano.
Wakati unafanya mazoezi, coach ni lazima akwe pale, anakumonitor ambavyo unatembea ili aweze kukusaidia. Kuna zile few mistakes ambazo unafanya na anakusaidia na kueleza hapa umekosea, fanye vile na hivi.
Coach Kariuki,
a walker has to abide by these rules, and they are simple, but they need a lot of practice, and so that a person can be able to catch up with them. We have one which is bent knee. Bent knee is one of the rules that an athlete should abide to. whereby an athlete's leg has to be straightened from the first contact with the ground. It has to be straight. The leading leg has to be straightened from the first time that leg hits the ground, and then it folds as the hind leg takes over. When the front leg hits the ground, it must be straight at the knee. When the other leg is coming forward, then the one that is coming forward will also need to be straightened at the knee, but the other one must bend, because naturally a walker or any human being has to bend the knee and also straighten it at one point in time. The next rule is to observe loss of contact. Loss of contact is noticed, especially when an athlete is like in a flying mode, whereby he's now doing like a run, not walking. When an athlete goes as if he's running, then he loses contact with the ground, and so he's airborne. When you are airborne, then you are not walking. And athletes in normal cases, when they are running, they are airborne. But for a walker, you must be consistently having contact with the ground. One of your legs must always be touching the ground, and at a flat foot, then it lifts up as the other one also comes to assist. That is, those are the two rules that have to be observed. So in case of judging race walking, the judges are not concerned with the upper part of the body. They are just concerned with the lower part of the body from the hips downwards. That is where the judges concentrate, and they want to see that the walker is in constant contact with the ground at all times. Those are the two rules.
Okay, and bringing into that
a naked eye. And so the judges must see the infringement by naked human eye, not by any other method. So in case an athlete is stripped, that is something that can be taken differently, because we have got other officials, not only the race walking judges. The race walking judges are concerned with the two rules that I have mentioned, the bent knee and the loss of contact. Any other part of the competition where, say, an athlete is stripped, we have got competition referee. And this competition referee is the one who can make some of these decisions. That is why you find that when an athlete is stripped, that's really not a race walking judge's area, but he can also caution. Say an athlete is stripped and falls, then that one it's something normal that any human being can see, and it can be dealt with at other levels within the competition.
Well, I took a look at the course that is going to be used in Oman Muscat, and this is at their convention center. And within the circuit, there is something that in race walking terms is known as a cell, but actually as penalty zone. Tell us how that cell operates, so that anybody who watches the race...
The three red cards are issued against an athlete by three different judges. Then those, instead of disqualifying that athlete, there before we used to disqualify that athlete instantly after getting the three red cards. But we realized that now we are disqualify this athlete completely from the race. So they have been given a chance redeem themselves and go back to the competition. But once he gets the fourth